Afternoon, everyone. Anyone out there watching this council meeting this afternoon, welcome aboard. Hindmarsh Shire Council acknowledges that this meeting has been held on the land of the Watchabali, Java, Jali, Werrigai and Juckavalt nations, and we acknowledge them as traditional owners of country. We recognise the important ongoing role that Indigenous people have in our community and pay our respects to the elders past and present. This meeting is being broadcast on the internet, and the recording of the meeting will be published on Council's YouTube channel and linked to Council's website. As a visitor to the public gallery, you may be filmed. By remaining in the public gallery, you consent to being filmed and for the recording of you to be made publicly available by Council. A copy of Council's live streaming and recording of Council meetings policy is available at the back of this room and on Council's website. Please speak with one of our staff members if you have any questions. I'll now hand over to Councillor Aiken to read out a statement of values.
Thank you, Councillor Ismay. Statement of values. Our commitment is to come prepared to every meeting, fostering a respectful and inclusive environment where accountability and approachability are at our core of our actions. We value and encourage innovation, collaboration, and open communication, always keeping in mind the well-being and needs of our community. Together we stand united as one, working towards shared goals, mutual respect and consideration.
Thank you. Item 2, apologies, but I don't think we've got any apologies today. Everyone's here. So declarations of business. Is there anyone around the table have any conflicts or general or material conflicts of interest? Councillor Barry.
Yeah, I have a general conflict of interest in confidential item 15.1.
Councillor Clark.
Yeah, Mayor, may I declare a general conflict of interest in confidential item 15.1.
Councillor Aitken.
Thank you, Councillor Ismay. Again, I have a general conflict of interest in item 15.1 in the confidential.
Yep. Councillor.
Have a general conflict of interest in confidential item 15.
And I also declare a conflict of interest in item 15.1. Sorry? Confidential item, sorry. Okay. Item 4, confirmation of minutes and there is a recommendation. Someone like to move such?
Yeah, I'll move that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on Wednesday, the 26th of November 2025 at the 92 Nelson Street, Nil, as circulated to councillors being taken as read and confirmed.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Clark. No one speaks against the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. Thank you. Business arising from previous minutes. Nothing there. Public question and submission time.
No public questions or submissions today.
All right. Thank you. Activity reports. Probably one of the things I'd like to talk about with my activities was the Rail Freight Alliance I attended in Melbourne recently, and we had people from Grain Corp and Freight National Freight, whatever they are, the rail people. Very interesting meeting, and it was a lot to do with the upgrading of the Sunshine Station with their new fancy complex they're doing. They're wanting to take out some crossover lines that will affect the rail freight side of things. This is a big issue, and I think we really need to advocate strongly to the government that they don't remove these crossovers. It's going to make rail freight unviable and force more trucks onto the roads that we're already, very conscious of being wrecked fairly regularly and not being repaired. So I certainly have been advocating for that, and we have meetings with people to discuss that further. So it was really well worth being there. Oh, and I attended the end of year celebration with everyone at the Nil Memorial Community Centre, and it was Phil King's final day on at work, and Phil, I think, was um, very well sent off, I suppose, if you can put it that way. And didn't want to be recognised, but you couldn't not recognise a gentleman that has put so much into this council over an awful lot of years, and he'll be sorely missed. Attended all the 16 days of act. Well, actually, I missed the Japara one, which was cancelled, but I did the other three 16 days of activism colour runs, and yeah, managed to escape in Dimboola, but not Rainbow or Nil. Anyway, the kids enjoyed the day, so that was good. And that's about all I probably need to comment on. I'll hand over to Councillor Barker.
Yes, in November, met with MAB's Health and Wellbeing Advisory Panel, which is a really interesting process, working with a number of other professionals, advocating for changes and innovation to health and wellbeing across our state. Also attended the Mary Rogers Award, where I was nominated for Emerging Woman Leader. It was good to be there as a rural professional, showing our ability in our regions, that we are, up there with the rest of the state, and where even all the rest of the people the majority of them were from metro councils. So that was very interesting. I met Minister Nick Stakos and was surrounded by many very talented women. Also went with Councillor Chan Oy to the Shared Table Regional Heroes movie. This was a powerful movie that we're looking forward to bringing to Nil for everyone to see, about the settlement of refugees across our state. And just so privileged to have some really beautiful moments of hearing from Farblay and Chan and, the Karen people generally, how that has been for them. And it's such a big thing to change countries. And I'm looking forward to sharing that with everybody. So that was and also the meeting that I had with meeting the new youth councillors was lovely to see such inspiring young people. We look forward to working with them in Nil. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Aitken.
Thank you, Councillor Ismay. I only did last month due that I was away on other work. The Youth Council was interviews in Japara, which went extremely well, so we'll see how they go. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Barry.
Yeah, I'm similar to Roger. I didn't do a lot. I did do the meetings and that, but one thing online that a few of us did do was environmental what is it? Energy saving, in the mining. I just hope they do a lot of research into it, because there's lots of money going into that. And I also went to the Dimboola 16 days of activism, and it was good to see the kids having a run around. And also done a heap of kids for the youth council at Dimboola last week. It was actually quite good. Young kids are having a fair crack these days.
Yeah.
More than I ever did. Thank you.
Right. Councillor Lloyd.
So the highlight.
Oh, sorry. Councillor Clark. Sorry, my apologies. I nearly missed you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, certainly the drop-in session on the 21st of November at Rainbow was meeting a couple of our local constituents, brought up a couple of relevant points, which we had answers for most of them, but we took away one or two little things to follow up with, which was fantastic. On the 24th of November, I went to Friends of the Rainbow RSL AGM and general meeting. I must have spoke well enough there, because I walked away with the vice president's role. Yeah, so that's another hat to add to my brief there. I did financial training with our CEO on the 2nd of December. Numbers is a bit of my thing, but certainly not money numbers. So, but anyway, that was certainly enlightening and be able to read that. 16 days of activism in Rainbow on the 2nd. Yeah, that was fantastic. Kids run amok with the colour, and did believe the mayor nearly escaped by 2 and 2 laps of the oval, but he got caught and the trotting track and longer distance. So anyway, the mayor got coloured up there. Might have had a little bit to do with that on the side of the kids. And I notice here too, there's a slight error in these minutes on the 4th of December, not November. I did a youth councillor interview at Chaparra, and fantastic to see Laura with her confidence in that joining our youth council. Did that very well. Did that interview, shall I say? I wouldn't even call it an interview. It was just more a friendly discussion with Councillor Aitkins. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Now, councillor Lloyd, sorry.
Thank you. The movie premiere was profound in a way that it highlights the success of Neil's story with embracing the current people in the community, and I think seeing how that has benefited Neil is a good shining example for Region Victoria. I attended the rural outreach men's night barbecue. That was a really good turnout. That was quite moving for me to see that a group of men come together and chat, and because as we know, Western society plays down on men showing the emotional side or the weakness, but to be able to open up and say that it's okay not to be okay, and that I think the pressures in Region Victoria, from what I've learned and seen, is there's a lot of stress, and the suicide rate is quite high amongst men in Region Victoria. So that was good to see. It being well attended, and there's another one in January. So if you can, please attend that one. And the other one was Regional Development Victoria came to Dimboola and came to the Shire to see the latest projects, and I did a talk to them about how Dimboola has revitalised, and it's a great example of how it is possible for towns to revitalise, but it's about bringing the right attitude and supporting each other to make it happen. So that's really it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and our CEO has also written a report, and I'm not even going to ask her to speak to anyone because we'll be here for the rest of the afternoon. Anyway, item 7, correspondence, unless you did want to specifically say.
Happy to take it as read.
Right. Okay, item 7, correspondence and a recommendation. Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. I move that council notes the attached correspondence.
Thank you. And a seconder, councillor Aitken. All in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you.
I can speak to that.
Sorry, I do apologise. I wouldn't have thought that there would have been someone wanting to speak, and I should have asked that first. I do apologise.
That's okay. One of the inwards correspondence was from the Honourable Christine McBain, MP, to our mayor and regarding the inquiry into the local government funding and fiscal sustainability. And the question I was wanting to ask is, did we do a submission, and is there anything else that we can add? And also had noticed previously, and Webster has offered to engage regarding this. So I'm just wondering if this is directed to our CEO, Ms. Ravel, in regard to how we are responding to that.
Yes, council did submit a submission in relation to the initial inquiry that was undertaken, and we're currently working through our long-term financial plan. We are hoping that the long-term financial plan will be completed by the closing date of the second round of this inquiry, so that we can submit that documentation to the inquiry to show a true indication of how tight things are for rural councils.
Thank you, Ms. Ravel, CEO. Also had another question for you in regard to the letter from the Honourable Nick Stakos MP in regard to his model statement of secure employment and how that is somewhat conflicting a little bit with how things may work in rural councils. And I was wondering if you would mind to speak to your reply to him.
Yes, so we have prepared a response that's been sent to the Honourable Nick Stakos in relation to the secure employment requirements. I think the concern for us is that we're not metro, we are rural Victoria. We are a small council, and so we often have to use contractors and labour hire when recruitment fails, or in relation to waste collection, it wouldn't be financially viable for us to collect our own waste. The letter of response will be tabled at the February council meeting.
Lovely. Thank you for that.
That's it.
Thank you.
Right, I do apologise for not asking. Item 8, Assembly of Councillor Records. Are there any questions? Councillor Park.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just in relation to the Assembly of Councillor Records, I just asked or can there be a minor amendment to that? Because in my record, it shows that on the 4th of the 11th, I did a youth council interview at Chaparrot, when in fact it was the 4th of the 12th.
Oh, in relation to our current agenda, it's incorrectly printed.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
So what I would recommend is when we present the minutes to the February meeting, you move the minutes with an amendment to correct the date.
My apologies. Just want to get it right.
Okay. I have a recommendation. Councillor White.
Okay, I move the motion that council notes the Assembly of Councillor Records as presented.
Thank you. And the seconder, Councillor Barry. You want to speak to the motion? No. Councillor Barry? No. Okay. Motion, all in favour? Against, the motion carried. Thank you. Item 9, planning permits, and there aren't any. Item 10, reports requiring a decision. Hindmarsh Shire Council Youth Strategy 2025-2029. The report presents the Hindmarsh Shire Council Youth Strategy 2025 to 2029 for adoption. The youth strategy builds on previous efforts to address young needs, foster inclusion and promote wellbeing through measurable actions and community partnerships. It was developed through a data collection including research and surveys, youth and stakeholder input, and was endorsed by Council in the October 2025 for a period of community engagement prior to adoption. As no additional feedback was received during the consultation period, no changes have been made to the strategy. Are there any questions? Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. I thought that this was a really well put together youth strategy report, and I had a question that came from, they had several themes that they'd picked out, and they'd worked together to create this strategy. So I think it was really great that it came from the youth themselves. I was particularly interested in theme 1, which is empower and involve young people in council spaces and decision making. So my question that I was curious about, and this may be directed to our CEO, Ms. Ravel, or to our Director of Community Services, Ms. Crute, that could it be possible that we add an agenda item to our meetings to include any questions that might come from the Youth Council, or perhaps a little update or any concerns that they might have that is being raised from their own meetings, or reflections on what they're doing?
I'm happy to answer that, Mr. Mayor. Yes, so the Youth Council is technically an advisory committee, so we can start including their minutes in the advisory committee section of the agenda, and as we do when another committee has a question or issue or request, we can include that either in the officer recommendation or in the body of that part of the agenda. Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Crute.
Councillor Clark.
Yeah, ma'am, my question relating to this was advertised and that I noticed here in the communications strategy section, it says that it was advertised through the council's Facebook page, the school e-newsletters. So that's went out to all our schools in our Hindmarsh Shire, our media release, e-marketing to local business and face-to-face consultations. Was there any other communication other than those five? 'Cause I do believe they've covered just about everyone, but was there any more than that?
Oh, through you, Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure. It may have been shared widely and because youth councillors were so heavily involved in the process, a lot of word of mouth and getting young people engaged through friendship groups and networking was used. And Nanda Sen, our youth officer, visited schools and worked with schools directly as well.
That's
Thank
it.
you, Mayor.
Okay. No further questions? If not, there is a recommendation. I would like to move councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. I would like to move that council adopts the Hindmarsh Shire Council Youth Strategy 2025 to 2029.
Thank you. And a seconder, councillor Clark. Would like to speak to the motion?
Sure, thank you, Ismay. I think there's been a great effort put together by our council and previous councils to support the youth in our region, and there's great leadership that is happening there with Ms. Anderson. Thank you.
Councillor Clark?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Right. Nothing further. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 10.2, Hindmarsh Shire Youth Council Terms of Reference. This report outlines proposed amendments to the Hindmarsh Shire Youth Council Terms of Reference and recommends that Council adopts the revised Terms of Reference. The Terms of Reference establish the Youth Council as an advisory committee and detail roles, responsibilities and functions. Proposed amendments include expanding the total number of members, clarifying the interview process and formally changing the age criteria of members from 12 to 24 years to 12 to 18 years of age. The revised terms of reference have been reviewed and endorsed by the current Youth Council. Are there any questions? Councillor Clark.
Yes, just a question in relation to with this. Now that it's been brought back to 12 to 18 years old, does this impact on any grant funding applications we may make?
I'm happy to answer that. So we currently have funding for the 12 to 24 age group. So this won't directly impact that funding, which we do use for the Youth Council program. It'll just mean that we'll have to run activities, events or services that hit that 18 to 24 age group as well.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, there is a recommendation. Councillor Clark.
Thanks, Mayor Ismay. I'm moving motion that council adopts the Hindmarsh Shire Youth Council Terms of Reference.
Thank you. And seconder, councillor Aitken. Like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Mayor. I think it's very good.
Speak.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. I would just like to also add that I think it's great that we're limiting members, and so it's good to not discourage applicants through the interview process, and anyone who's keen to be involved is more than likely a potential good leader and innovator. It's a great initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Mate, against, the motion's carried. Thank you. Item 10.3, Hindmarsh Shire Council Sport and Recreation Strategy 2025 to 2035. This report presents Hindmarsh Shire Sport and Recreation Strategy 2025 to 2035 for adoption. The Hindmarsh Shire Council Sport and Recreation Strategy 2025 to 2035 aims to provide a clear long-term plan to develop and promote sport and recreation within Hindmarsh Shire, with the following priorities at the centre of proposed actions: increase participation in sport and recreation, support community wellbeing, including mental and physical health, improve facilities and open spaces, provide support for clubs and volunteers, promote equity, diversity and inclusion, and foster partnerships and collaboration. The sport and recreation strategy was developed by compiling community and stakeholder consultation feedback, including in-person sessions held at sporting clubs in 2024 and the sporting and recreation project pipeline that has been informed by community action plans, master plans, maintenance plans, and the council plan. The draft sport and recreation strategy 2025 to 2035 was made available for community feedback from Thursday, the 30th of October 2025 to Friday, the 21st of November 2025. No submissions were received in relation to the draft. Are there any questions? Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. This question is for Ms. Groot, Director of Community Services. I did note that there's a higher percentage of males that are engaged in sport in Hindmarsh. And I was wondering if council or there's going to be some kind of strategy work that we can do to encourage a women's football team and be upfront and proactive about creating this league in the rural region.
Very happy to answer that, Mr. Mayor. Absolutely. So as part of this, working with clubs and the league that our clubs participate in to encourage inclusion is absolutely part of it. We know that there are a lot of young girls and women coming up through school that have to travel really long distances to keep playing football once they age out of, I think it's under 15s at this point. So finding a way to bring that to the local community so that women can participate in the same sports as men and vice versa would be fantastic. And I will just add, Council has fair access policy and fair access policy action plan, which is particularly around getting women and girls equally participating in sporting clubs at all levels. So that's in the sports, in the umpiring, and in the club leadership. So this sports and rec strategy kind of works alongside with that.
Thank you, Ms. Groot.
Any other questions? No? We have a recommendation. Is there someone prepared to move the motion? Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. I would like to move that council adopts the Hindmarsh Shire Council Sport and Recreation Strategy for 2025-2035.
Thank you. A second. Councillor Barry. No one wants to oppose the motion. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Ismay. I would like to note our goal that is in this strategy, that our communities become places that support holistic health and well-being, acknowledging the connection between mental health and physical health. So this is the reason that I will be supporting the motion.
Thank you. Councillor Barry.
No, look, sport and recreation and even supporters of sport, there's like, we've got 5,500 in our shire. At least 3,000 have something to do with sport in some sort of way, so we need to really promote it. Yeah, it keeps us all healthy and young and fit.
I agree. Right, put the motion. All in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 10.4, Domestic Animal Management Plan, 2026 to 2029. This report presents the Domestic Animal Management Plan for adoption. The Domestic Animal Management Plan, or DAMP, is developed in accordance with the Domestic Animals Act 1994, which requires councils to prepare a plan every 4 years to manage cats and dogs within their municipality. The plan provides a framework for addressing issues such as registration, microchipping, nuisance complaints, and animal welfare, while promoting responsible pet ownership and community safety. It reflects local demographics, animal ownership trends, and specific challenges faced by the municipality, ensuring strategies are tailored to meet both legislative requirements and community expectations. Council advertised for community feedback on the draft Domestic Animal Management Plan for the period between 29th of October 2025 and 28th of November 2025. At the end of the consultation period, 4 submissions were received in relation to the DAMP, which have been included as an attachment to this report, and a summary provided below, which includes the officer's response. Are there any questions? Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. In reading this report, I have noted that there have been ongoing unresolved issues with domestic animals, especially cats. And there have been ongoing plausible discussions, but significant problems remain. It seems consistent across the past few years. I was wondering, so this question is directed to Ram, our Director of Infrastructure, that consideration of Hindmarsh Shire may not have the skills or the knowledge about how to handle that, and suggest forming some kind of advisory committee to research solutions on aspects of the domestic animal plan, what other councils do. So sort of doing a little bit more research and working together with our compatriots across the region to see if there's better ways or something we're missing.
Thank you. We have not partnered with the other councils in this regard, but we've definitely partnered with other agencies. We're working with the VET project to have the subsidised desexing program and some of the other organisations for the animal rescue and stuff. But we'll definitely look into organising the meeting with the neighbouring council to see if there is any better ways to do things. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Ram, Director of Infrastructure.
Any further questions? No? Okay, we do have a recommendation. Does anyone bid for motion? Thank you. Barry?
I move that the council, 1, adopts the domestic animal management plan 2026 to 2029. 2, authorises chief executive officer or their delegate to submit the adoption of domestic animal management plan to the state government as required by legislation. And 3, acknowledges and thanks the community for the contributions to the domestic animal management plan throughout the community engagement period.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councillor Aiken. Is there anyone opposed to the motion? No? You like to speak to the motion?
Well, we need rules, so we just got to follow them. That's all it is.
Councillor Aiken. Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. I would like to say that in regard to this motion, great to be working with the VET projects for reduced desexing costs. That's a fantastic initiative. And noted that advertising stray animals and animals available for rehoming, the increase of that has just been a fantastic initiative by Hindmarsh Shire Council. With I have heard there's been 100% or near good results for people taking on those animals. So great work, and great that pets can go on the Wimmera River Discovery Trail. For a big long walk, my dog is always exhausted at the end. So this is the reason that I will be supporting this motion.
When you get to Japan.
I've got 2 legs left to go. I'll get there.
Okay. Nothing further. All in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 10.5, volunteers policy and code of conduct. Council's volunteers policy has been reviewed with a new volunteer code of conduct added as an appendix to the policy. This draft was endorsed by Council on the 26th of November 2025 and has been available for community consultation via Council's Have Your Say Hindmarsh platform for the period 27 of November to the 10th of December 2025. 2 submissions were received, one of which agreed with the proposed amendments and the other provided feedback on volunteer induction processes and Council's volunteer management framework. Based on the submissions, no changes are proposed, and the volunteers policy, including volunteer code of conduct, is now presented to Council for adoption. Are there any questions? Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. I note in this policy and code of conduct, this question is for our Director of Corporate and Community Services, Ms. Crouch, that it talks about a volunteer coordinator, and I'm wondering if you can tell us who that is, and is that widely known or publicised?
Happy to answer that. So we have several categories of volunteers and each one has a different volunteer coordinator for like library volunteers, for example, it's our coordinator libraries and customer service. And then for particular volunteer committees, they're given a staff member that's their coordinator. We have improved our processes, so this may have been missed for some volunteers, but now when you're onboarded, you get a letter saying this is your committee, this is your coordinator, and this is their contact details. So it varies, but if they don't know, we can certainly provide that information very easily.
So if someone's interested in volunteering, can they call council reception and find out what organisations or what things they could become involved with?
Absolutely. So for council, definitely, and our staff will have knowledge of what kind of volunteer opportunities we have, but we also work really closely with community groups. So if that person's interested in volunteering throughout the community, I'm sure we could point them in the direction of some fantastic groups.
Thank you, Ms. Group.
So, is there any further questions? If not, I have a recommendation. Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Esme. I move that council adopts the volunteer policy incorporating the volunteer code of conduct.
Thank you. I second it. Councillor Aitken. Does anyone oppose the motion? Not, would you like to speak to the motion, Councillor Barker?
Thank you, Mayor Esme. I think the work that our volunteers do and all the numerous organisations that we have in our Hindmarsh Shire, demand exceeds supply, and it's a very fulfilling work that volunteers do, and I see them having, enjoying the work that they do as well. So for that reason, I will be supporting this motion.
Thank you. Councillor Aitken.
Thanks, councillor Ismay. As councillor Barker said, she said it all. Thank you.
All right. Nothing further. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against, the motion's carried. Thank you. Item 11, council committees, advisory committees. And we have the following Hindmarsh Shire advisory committees held meetings on the following dates: the Parrot Town Committee, Rainbow Town Committee, and the Nil County Town Committee. A copy of the minutes of each of the meetings included in the attachment for the information to council. A copy of the financial statements from the month of November for the following committees have been included as confidential attachments for the information of council: the Parrot Town Committee, the Nil Township Committee, and Rainbow Town Committee. Are there any questions? No? I have a recommendation of someone prepared. Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the motion that one notes the minutes of the following advisory committees, being the Parrot Town Committee meeting held on the 10th of November 2025 and the Rainbow Town Committee meeting held on the 17th of November 2025 and the Nil Town Committee meeting held on the 18th of November 2025. 2, approves the request for the Rainbow Town Committee to allocate $2,000, excluding GST, to the Oasis Committee for the 2026 Big Sky Festival. And 3, note the Nil Town Committee's donation of $5,000, excluding GST, towards proposed renovations of Goldsworthy Park in Nil.
Thank you. I have a second. Councillor Lloyd. Thank you. Would you like to speak to the motion, Councillor Clark?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just look, we're with item 2, the Rainbow Tent Committee allocating $2,000 to the Oasis Committee for the Big Sky Festival. These Big Sky Festivals, they just rock. They're brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So it's great to see that. And the Nil Town Committee putting $5,000 towards the Goldsworthy Park Nil renovations. Just fantastic. I think these 3 committees between them, if they didn't have rules, regulation, policy and procedure working against them, I think they'd have the world built by now. They're just great goals.
Yeah. Thank you. Councillor Lloyd, you would like to speak? No? Okay, nothing further. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against, the motion is carried. Thank you. 11.2, community asset committees. Following Hindmarsh Shire Community Asset Committees held meetings on the following dates: Urunga Homestead Committee and the Women Mallee Pioneer Museum Committee. A copy of the minutes for each of the meeting has been included in the attachment for information for council. Are there any questions? Not, there's a recommendation. Councillor Aitken.
I'd like to move that the council notes that the minutes of the following community asset committees. 1 Yarrunga Homestead meeting held on the 23rd of October 2025, and number 2 Wimmera Pioneer Museum meetings held on the 21st of October 2025 and the 18th of November 2025.
Very good. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Clark. No one opposes the motion. Would you like to speak to the motion? Councillor Clark?
If I may, Mayor, I think the Yarrunga Homestead meeting committees I attend, very small committees, but very small committee, but they actually do a brilliant job looking after Yarrunga for the small committee they are. The Wimmera Pipeline Museum or Pioneer Museum, certainly the same. I'm certainly reading all the time how they're just goers. And again, I just say it, no rules, regulations, policy or procedure. They'd have their places look big and span and be a pride of the Shire.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to speak? No? Put the motion, all in favour? Against, motion carried, thank you. Item 12, late reports, and there aren't any. Notice of motion, and there aren't any of those either. Other business, item 14, councillor Aitken.
No, thank you, councillors.
Councillor Lloyd. Councillor Barker.
No, thank you, Mayor Ismay.
Councillor Clark.
No, thank you, Mayor.
And councillor Barry.
No, thank you, Mayor.
Amazing. I don't think, well, I won't break that record. I won't say anything either. Okay. Item 15, council confidential reports. I have a recommendation here. Councillor Lloyd.
I move that the meeting be closed in accordance with section 66(2)(a) of the Local Government Act 2020 to consider reports that contain confidential information as defined by section 3 of the Local Government Act 2020 and or part 4 of the Freedom of Information Act 1982 and following consideration of items 15.1 to 15.2 close the council meeting. So 15.1 is Australia Day Awards 2026. This report contains personal information, being information which, if released, would result in unreasonable disclosure of information about any person or their personal affairs. And 15.2, Hindmarsh Shire Youth Council 2026 nominations. This report contains personal information, being information which, if released, would result in the unreasonable disclosure of information about any person or their personal affairs. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Clark. Don't know that we need to speak to that motion. I'll put the motion all in favour. Against, the motion's carried. That concludes our council meeting today for anyone out there in the public, and thank you so much for tuning into our meeting today. And I'd like to wish everyone out there a very safe and happy Christmas and a prosperous New Year. And we look forward to working with you again in